What is up, my loves? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Natalie Hughes. I am a life mindset and manifestation coach. I'm also a psychic medium in my business and on my platform. My job is to help professional, ambitious women co-create emotionally fulfilled, purpose-driven lives for themselves. And in today's video, we are doing that by doing a tarot reading, psychic reading on what kind of father will the man on your mind be, or what kind of father will your future children have. So for those of you who don't have somebody on your mind, then this can just be a general reading, what's the energy that you're calling in. And this is the highest level. This is the highest expression. This is what is the greatest, thing that is available to you. So that's our intentions. There's 3 piles. They're numbered on your screen. The timestamps are already in the description box. So I will see you at your reading. Okay, pile number 1. That video didn't feel like it fit for your reading. Okay, so pile number 1. What kind of father will this man be? Okay, so just getting tuned in. Hold on, I have to look at the picture. Hold on, I'm pulling it up. Okay, so I feel like this man is going to be a very communicative father, okay? Because of all of the 3 pictures, yes, 2 of the pictures, well, in one of the pile selections, the dad is reading to the baby, and the other one, the baby is just sleeping and resting on the dad. This is the only picture where the dad is looking into the baby's face like they're having a conversation, like they're having a discussion. Oh my God, I'm getting the cutest dynamic. Okay, psychic messages, I need you to slow down because my mouth cannot keep up. So I feel like this is going to be an experience. This is going to be a dad who is always talking to his kid. So I just feel like this is a man who likes to talk. And let me find the words. The way that this man is going to talk to his kid, it's not it's not like, Lord, please help me find it. I'm going to explain the dynamic and then maybe the words will come out right. Your baby is going to look up to your dad. Look up to your dad. Their dad. I'm getting a song from The Jungle Book, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, the cartoon Jungle Book. And in the song, they're just singing, I want to be just like you. And a part of the lyrics, they say, I want to walk like you and I want to talk like you too. I think those are the lyrics. That's what I remember. And so that's the energy and vibe. This kid is going to think that their dad is so cool. This kid is really, really obsessed with their dad. And I saw a video on Twitter, and it was this mom. She was laying on the couch and she's filming her, I think it was her son. And in the video, her son is like, where's daddy? And the mom is like, oh, he's gone, but he's coming back. No, she says, he's gone. And then the baby looks like he's gonna cry. He's devastated. What do you mean he's gone? And the baby's like face like drops, like the baby is not happy about this. And then the mom is like, he's coming back, like, he's gonna come back. And the baby is just like really sad. Okay, so that's the energy and the vibe, like the bond between your baby and your partner, I want to say your husband, the bond between your baby and your husband is going to be so like special and so deep. Like this kid is going to be like your husband's like shadow, like like wherever my dad is going, I want to go. My dad's going into his office, I'm going to follow him into his office. My dad is working on some stuff, I'm going to work on some stuff too. Like, I'm seeing a scene in my mind's eye of like a man working on a laptop, and then a little small kid toddler that's next to him and has like a coloring book, or how they sometimes have those like laptops for kids, like and it's like learning games and shit like that, and it's like, okay, it's time it's time for all of us to work. Oh my god, why am I crying? Oh my god, I'm sorry, you guys, my period is coming any second. And that's just the kiddiest shit that I've ever seen in my life. Okay. Okay, everybody. Everybody, we just need to breathe. Just as a community. Let's just take a deep breath. Okay, one more. That was just the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. So anyway, I feel like the kind of dad that this man is going to be is like it's not even an intentional thing. I'm just getting an experience of like you're sitting down at a table and your husband is eating something and your baby is like, I want to try this thing that you're also eating. I want to eat it just because you're eating it. I want to like it just because you like it. I want to go to this thing just because you go to this thing. So this husband, this man is going to be the kind of father who has a lot of influence over his children, especially if that child is a boy. I get a very strong like father son bond type thing, and there's a lot of like it's like fun, it's like really fun, and it's really lighthearted, like there's a lot of play that happens, however it is that they want to do that. Like this is the kind of experience where your kid is like 16 years old, and I'm seeing people on a beach, like you're on vacation, because this is kind of giving like vacation vibes, the picture. So I'm seeing people on a beach on vacation, and I'm seeing like a father and like teenage aged son playing like football on the beach, right? So this is like, they're just going to have a dynamic between the two of them where they just really like get one another. They're going to have a dynamic between the two of them where there's a lot of like love, and there's a lot of just like admiration and respect. So what kind of father is this man going to be? He's going to be a man who is really respected. Like it's kind of like, the reason why that tone is coming out of my voice is because it's not really something that he chooses. It's kind of like is kind of like a little mommy duck and baby duck situation where when certain animals are born, it's like the first thing that they see, they're like, yes, mama, and I'm gonna follow you everywhere and I'm gonna do exactly what you do. It's like kind of like that vibe. Like your child is gonna be born and then they're gonna look at their dad and they're gonna like kind of like imprint on him like Renesmee in Twilight. I've been really missing Twilight. It's not on any streams. I need to buy it on Blu-ray DVD. Anyway, so in Twilight, the little baby Renesmee, Jacob imprints on the baby when she's born. I kind of get that feeling and that vibe. Like your kid is gonna have such a strong bond with his father, where it's like it's like instantly from the moment that I met you, from the moment that I knew you, I knew that I wanted to grow up and be just like my dad. Like, it's the cutest thing. Oh my god. Okay. So let me pull cards and see if I can actually get anything other than that. We have hawk, which when you see hawk, you think of the phrase watching you like a hawk. So I get the feeling that this man is going to be a very like protective dad. Oh my god, have you seen those videos where it's like like a compilation? Is that the word? It's like a whole bunch of videos that have been cut and put together, and it's like dad tuition, or like dads have amazing reflexes, and it's like a whole bunch of different like videos from all over the internet of instances where like a kid is like about to fall over and then like the dad like catches them and like like grabs them really quickly, or like something like that. Okay, and it just is happening a million and one different times. I feel like that's the kind of like father that this person is going to be. There's like a certain like intuitiveness, but also like an intuitiveness like in their physical body. So this is somebody who's like really nurturing and really caring, especially like, this is so funny because I just did a video a couple videos ago about like your first baby, and the first pile was like, you're gonna need a leash because your baby is gonna be all over the fucking place. Like, this kid is sprinting the second that he can, like king of running. He needs to be everywhere. It's like, if you picked that pile and you also picked this pile, then your person, your spouse, your husband is going to be the kind of father that like your kid takes off running and your husband has like really quick reflexes, and I'm kind of seeing a woman being like, oh my god, like what is going on? And by the time that you're realizing what is going on, like your husband has already like captured your kid. That is so funny. So basically, I'm just getting a man who is really like physically active. So I mean, he could be like just a physically active man, but a man who's very physically active with his kids. So this is the kind of man who wants to like play with his kids and like roughhouse with them and like throw them all over the place and like toss them into the air. But like when you play those games with kids and you like toss them into the air and they're like more, and then like you're like, baby girl, I only got like 3 rounds of this and my arms are giving out, honey. Like we can't keep playing this game. I don't feel like your husband's gonna have that issue. I don't feel like your husband's gonna have that problem. So he's gonna be a man who has a lot of like physical energy, a man who has a lot of physical strength, and there's gonna be so much like fun and laughter and play. And with the energy of a hawk, I just feel like your husband is like gonna be always there, always watching. So you might have an experience where you guys have like, I don't want to say cameras inside of your house because I don't get that feeling, but maybe you have like a ring camera. Maybe you have like a camera in your backyard. This is like he's going to be the type of dad who's always watching, because when you think about hawks, like, they have really good eyesight. They're like soaring in the sky, and then they can see a little fucking field mouse like all of those fucking miles away on the ground scurrying in a little field. So it's like your husband is going to be the kind of man who really always has like an awareness. Like, he's gonna be the type of dad that always knows what's going on. Like, he always knows where his kids are. He always knows what's happening, even as, like, they get older and you have like multiple children and they all have different like activities that they're doing, or like there's just like a particular schedule or something like that you have going on. Like, this is a dad that knows what's going on. This is a dad that knows where all of his kids are. And also there's kind of like maybe it's giving a little strict, like, that meme where it's just kind of like, I know that person runs that Arby's like the Navy. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of giving a little bit like of like a very strict energy. I feel like this is the kind of dad who really cares about a curfew. This is the kind of dad who really cares about structure. This is the kind of dad who really cares about time. So there's fun and there's playfulness and there's lightheartedness, but when it comes down to things that are going to keep his children safe and secure, then he gets down. He don't play. I love that phrase. So yeah, that's the energy and vibe that I'm getting. Let's see if there's anything else. Okay, we have oyster, but when I see oyster, my mind goes into the gutter. So I'm just going to open the book really quickly. Okay, so oyster. Patient, secret keeper, hiding inner treasures. The focus and determination of the oyster is unmatched. Anything an oyster personality puts their mind to, they achieve with grace and charm. That's the most relevant thing. Now, what stands out to me here is the whole patient secret keeper thing. So number one, obviously, when you have patient, then you're getting the energy, the experience of a man who is really, really patient with his kids. I feel like emotionally, like when your kid is crying or your kid is upset or something happens, like your kid is disappointed, like I'm seeing like a kid who like is doing like baseball or something and they like strike out, and they're feeling very disappointed or they're feeling upset that they didn't perform in the way that they wanted to perform. They didn't do what it is that they like desired to do. I just get the energy and the vibe of this man just being so patient and being so loving and just really holding space for that emotional experience. So it's like when your kids experience disappointments, when your kids experience, like, more specifically, disappointments within themselves as they're learning, as they're growing, as they're, moving towards the goals that they have in life. It's like their father is going to be someone that they can always turn to. Their father is going to be someone who's always there for them, because the oyster personality is focused and determined. They can achieve anything they put their mind to with grace and charm. So your husband, this man, is somebody who is successful. He has achieved many things in his life. So he really understands intimately what it's like to go after a goal. He really understands intimately what it's like to maybe not to not perform at the top immediately or right away. And so that compassion that he has for himself, he's going to really give that. Like, that's going to translate to his relationship with his kids. So his kids are going to grow up to have an experience where they have a really good relationship with success, and they have a really good relationship with their goals, and they have that same determined energy, because before they could process those emotions and all of that for themselves, they had a father that was doing it. So that's really, really good. And then we also have secret keeper. So I feel like your father, I feel like this man is going to, your father, your kid's father. Why do you keep saying your father? um I feel like your kid's father is going to be very, like, he's going to have a very wonderful balance between being a friend and also being a parent, being somebody who's reliable, being somebody who provides, being somebody who protects, being somebody who creates structure, right? Because, of course, that's what kids need to feel safe. Your 2-year-old might throw a tantrum because they don't want to take a nap, but taking naps at every single, at the same time every single day, it establishes routine. They know what to expect. It creates a sense of safety and security and predictability. So this is going to be a man who creates safety and security and predictability, and there is a routine, and there are things that we can expect that will happen in our home. And we have a dad who creates an environment of safety and security and stability through the actions that he takes, right? It's very masculine energy, action oriented. I'm going to make a plan, and then I'm going to take action. I'm going to execute this plan. And in this case, this plan is creating a sense of safety and security for my family and my kids. So it's like there's that safety and security, but then also with that like secret keeping energy, it just gives me like, it gives me like teenage vibes. Like, this is going to be the type of man that when your children get older and there are different things like drugs, when those themes start becoming more like prevalent, just culturally, just within their age group as they're growing and expanding, it's like your kids are going to have a relationship with their father where they feel safe to come to their dad and talk to their dad about these things, and they don't feel like their dad is going to judge them, and they don't feel like their dad is going to shame them, and they don't feel like their dad is going to make them feel bad about themselves. It's like their dad is really going to be giving like best friend vibes. Like, I trust my dad, I respect my dad, I see my dad as a really good man, and I know that I want to be like my dad. And I know that I can tell my dad anything, and my dad will always help me and support me. And your kids are just going to have a very strong understanding that their dad really has their best interest at heart, and not just what looks like their best interest, but like the best interest for like their soul. So they're going to have that really great relationship. And the last thing that's coming up for you guys is that they're going to, like, you listening, you pile number one, you're going to have an experience where you're having children. I'm sorry, I hit the mic. You're having children with a man that you really love. You're having children with a man that you really respect. You're having children with a man that you really like. And so it's like the way that you see your husband, and the way that you treat your husband, and the way that you kind of like just really revere your husband and who he is as a man, it's like that impacts and influences like the current of the relationship between your son and his father, or your daughter and her father. It's like you create an experience, you create an environment in your home where you really respect your husband. And I don't mean like in a subservient way where you're a second class citizen, whatever. It's just like, no, like I really like my husband. I really think that he's a good man. I really think that he is an amazing leader. And I really like the characteristics that he has. I really like who he is as a person. I really like the way that he expresses himself. I really like the way that he shows up. So you're creating an environment where it's really cool to be like dad. It's really cool to be like dad because dad is a really cool person. We like dad. And this family, we like dad. So if we exhibit characteristics that are in alignment with dad, then everybody's going to love that because dad is really cool. So that's the energy and vibe. And that's the last thing that I've got for you. If you want to enter this week's giveaway, you can comment down below, #next level to be entered. I am picking the winner on August 24th. Well, it's going to be random generated, but the last day to enter is the 23rd, and I will respond to your comment and let you know that you won, and you'll be able to, I'll get your email or I'll get you a code to book the reading, whatever. So yes, that is all that I've got for you. And of course, if you just want to book a personal reading with me by yourself, then you can find that information in the description. If you want to look at my courses and enroll in them, or you want to look into getting some one-on-one personal coaching with me, then you can find all of those links in the description box. I love ya, and I hope that you enjoyed this one. I thought that was really, really beautiful, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Okay, pile number 2. Pile number 1 was so beautiful. Okay. So we're getting into what kind of father will this guy on your mind be, this guy that you're dating be, this guy that you're married to, what kind of father will he be? And if you do not have a specific guy on your mind, then this can just be like the father of your kids. What's that going to be like, right? Okay. So, yes. Okay, the first thing that I'm hearing is like solid as a rock. And I get the energy and the vibe that this person is like, dad is reliable. Dad is trustworthy. Dad is like, you know those videos of, oh my God, what happened? Uh-oh, hold on. Okay, we should be good now. You know, there was like a very popular video online, and it was like girls when they go to get an oil change, and it was of this creator, and she's recording herself like she's having a conversation with her dad at the auto shop, and she's like, "Hi, Dad. I want to go get an oil change, and the mechanic said that my battery blew up and my carburetor needs to be adjusted, and the falafel machine is like really fucked up, and I just really don't understand what's going on." And then like she's like going down the list of like all of these things, and then she like is like starting to cry because it's like so overwhelming. She's like, I just do not know what's going on right now. It's like that kind of energy. And all of the girls that were seeing that video were like, oh my God, no, like I completely relate to this. So it's like your kids are going to have that kind of energy and that kind of vibe. Especially I'm getting like a girl dad kind of vibe here, even though it doesn't matter the gender or the sex, it's still going to be the same. But I'm definitely getting this energy and vibe of like, I'm seeing a girl, like a teenage girl, like she's like, 16, 17 years old. She has her first car, and a light goes on in her car, and she's like, oh, Dad, like, don't know what's happening here. Like, you should probably go check that out. Like, this person is going to be the kind of dad who takes the car to the shop, your daughter doesn't even know what the inside of the auto shop looks like. She doesn't really even understand that. How long does it take for an oil change? I really don't know, because I drove my dad's car to school and he handled it before he went to work or on his lunch break, or I don't really know what happened. It really doesn't matter because my dad handled it. Like, I don't know what's going on and I don't want to know. So that's the kind of energy, just a really solid energy, just a really stable energy. And I feel like that's the kind of man that this is going to be like as your husband. This is the kind of guy who, like, you know, grabs your car keys because it's time to go fill up your car with gas. Or this is the kind of guy who, if you're both out running errands, he calls you and tells you to come meet him at the gas station so that he can pump your gas. This is the kind of man who is going to take your car to the shop. Or if you're buying a new car or something like that, he will go with you, he will negotiate the price and all of that stuff. And it's not so much that you can't do these things, or you're like, oh, I'm so helpless, I'm such a stupid girl. Like, it's not really that kind of energy and vibe. It's just kind of like, this is a guy that handles things, this is a guy that takes care of things. This is a guy that builds furniture. This is a guy that you call when you're moving things. So because of that dynamic that you have between you and your husband, that you have had since you guys were dating, it's like that's like the foundation of your family. So your family is kind of living an experience where it's like, if we need something, then we'll just call our dad and he will fix it and he will handle it and he will take care of it. It's not that we're not capable, but it's like how he shows love. So this is definitely going to be a man who, one of his main love languages is going to be acts of service. This is a man who wants to help. This is a man who wants to support. This is a man who wants to provide. So how can I serve you? How can I help you? How can I make this easier on you? Like, those are the questions and the thoughts that are running through his mind, and he's taking action based on that. Like, they're saying, you know, when you have like a refrigerator and you have to like change the filter on your refrigerator water, and it's like you're supposed to do it every like 6 months or 3 months or what the fuck ever. Like, this is a man who make sure that the refrigerator filter is being changed. This is a man who makes sure that the air conditioner filter thingy, I don't know what it's called, like, he makes sure that that gets changed routinely. This is a man that takes care of things. If this isn't a man who actually does the gardening, then this is a man who makes sure that the gardener is getting paid. This is a man that makes sure that the bills are getting paid. This is a man who is just aware of what's going on. He's looking at your investments. He's looking at your savings. He's looking at your savings goals. You guys are sitting down and you're having a conversation about just like your family's goals, your financial goals, the vacation goals. And he's talking to you about the money and finances and basically just keeping you updated. And then after that meeting is over, he's the person who is really checking those things weekly. And it's not that you can't check those things or you won't check those things, but it's that this man is so solid and so supportive that you don't have to do anything that you don't want to do, and you can trust him. It's like, we know that this summer we are taking a trip to Italy, and these are the different hotels that we've looked at. I really want to stay at this hotel, and my husband is calling and seeing about rooms and the reservation process and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, I'm showing up to the airport and I have all of the clothes and things like that packed. You know what? That's what I feel. I feel like you guys are going to be very like structured. I feel like your family dynamic is going to be one where there is a lot of structure, where if your husband is actually planning out the trip. This is the hotel we're going to. This is the car that we're going to rent, or this is how we're getting there. This is the airplane that we're going to take. These are our seats. Here are all of our passports and all of that. It's like if he's handling that, then you actually do have your family's like suitcases packed, and these are the different outfits that we're going to wear, and this is what's going to be going on with the weather. So I don't think that it's like, yes, there's an experience where he takes care of a lot and he handles a lot, but I think you have your own set of responsibilities that you take care of, and it just works out that way. Like, you could be someone who prefers to focus on, the fashion and getting like family coordinating outfits together or matching outfits or whatever. And he more so is someone who wants to plan out the different times and how long is this layover. And, like, I just feel like this is a very detail oriented man. And so it's kind of like one of you focuses on the big picture, the other of you focuses on the smaller details. And I think you guys do this in every single aspect of life. I feel like this man is going to be really involved with his kids. This is the kind of man who wants to understand what are the developmental markers that my child should be reaching at this particular stage, And you might be the mom that's home more often, who's doing the tummy time and who's doing the flashcards and who's practicing the sign language more often than not, but he is aware and he is checking in and he is connecting and he is doing his part, but he might be working or, doing whatever it is that he does. He probably is working. So you could also have an experience where you're a stay-at-home mom, or maybe you work from home, or you're taking off like just like some years from your work while your kids are growing up and just like in those early stages of development. But of course that doesn't have to be for everyone. So let's pull some cards. We've got the turtle and the lamb. I feel like he's going to be the kind of dad who has really adorable nicknames for his kids. Really adorable nicknames. Okay, so the lamb says, the lamb is the bearer of an important message. Its contents can only be heard when a deep level of quiet has been established. Lamb energy is the honest guidance you hear from an old friend, a young child, or sometimes a surprising stranger. Through the lamb's message, nope, just kidding. Though the lamb's message may channel through another person, the wisdom resonates within you. It will repeat and reverberate until you listen. Approach this gentle creature with utmost patience and reverence. Truth is a gift. Sit still, listen, and receive. So I feel like this man is going to be the kind of father that is very patient, but it's a little bit of a different aspect of patience than we saw in pile number one. This dad's patience is going to be like when you have kids and they're still learning how to pick up for themselves. What the fuck phrase is that? Pick up after themselves. There you go. When you're growing and you're learning how to pick up after yourself, this is the kind of man who's going to be very patient about that kind of thing. And instead of yelling that there's toys on the floor or different things like that, he's more like, I get like asking questions. I feel like this is a dad who really cares about learning. I feel like this is a dad who really cares about education. So he's kind of more focused on like, what do we do when we're done with our toys? And just actually sitting there, being patient, waiting for the kid to pick it up. Because sometimes when you're dealing with small kids, or you're dealing with toddlers, or even just like younger children, and they just move at a snail's pace. And sometimes you want to just be like, you know what? We don't have time for this. We got to get out the door. We have to do this and this and this. I'm just going to clean this up. I'm just going to do this. Like, let's just all get it together so that we can move forward. And it's like, no, like, that's not the kind of man that this is. So if your husband is cooking and the child or the children are helping him with the cooking, and they take longer to do things that he can do quickly and easily, he's going to sit with them and let them take their time. Or if the kids are learning how to pick up after themselves and toys and shit like that, then he's gonna fucking be there and he's gonna wait. Or maybe he's going to help and support, but he's not going to like bulldoze over them, and he's not going to like he's not approaching this parenthood like he has better things to do. So I feel like this is a man who's very present, because this lamb card talks about meditation, it talks about stillness, it talks about like calm. So I feel like this is going to be a calm man. I feel like he's going to bring a calm energy. I feel like this man is going to be so good for things like tantrums. Like, he's going to be so good for just like times when your kids are feeling a little bit emotionally overwhelmed or sensitive, or like, when your kid's been awake for a little bit too long and they start getting really cranky and they're like crying and upset and kind of more prone to having meltdowns. Like, he's gonna get it, he's gonna understand it, and he's just gonna be so even tempered, where it's just like, it's okay to feel your feelings. It's okay to feel your emotions. And also, because of his energy, because of how like this like chill energy that he brings, he's going to bring this energy of calm and relaxation. Like, when a kid is already upset and already feeling scared or blah blah blah, if you respond like, I'm so upset, I'm angry, or I'm scared because my kid is crying and I just need them to stop crying and I just want them to stop crying, and like that energy of excitement, that energy of anxiety, that energy of fear, that energy of worry, it just like multiplies their tantrum. It just like, makes the meltdown even worse. But this man, his energy, his calmness, that feeling of rest and relaxation within him, it's like he emits this safety, he emits this security, he emits this stability. Big earth sign energy. So he could have Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus placements in his chart. That could be a sun, moon, rising, Venus, Mars, whatever. It's just big earth sign energy. So there's a safety and security there. There's an energy of him just being so grounded and being able to just ground everybody in the family. So that's really going to just powerfully support you and powerfully support your kids in calming themselves down and regulating their emotions. He's not going to escalate situations. He's going to de-escalate situations. And I feel like this is a man who is probably going to be somebody who like works, whether or not that's like a 9 to 5. I don't really have any specific message on that, but this is a man who leaves every single day to go to work. And even though this is a man who works and he works outside of the home, he's very much going to be the kind of man who is present for certain times, like in that particular schedule. So I just get like an energy of like bedtime. Like, you guys might have that all, like, you might already have that dynamic. I feel that you will already have that dynamic set up of like, my husband does the nighttime routine with my kids. My husband is the one who gives them their bath at night. My husband is the one that reads them a book before bed. My husband is the one that puts the kid to bed. Like, I definitely get that really, really strong. My husband is the one who does XYZ different thing. And it probably is because he has such a calming energy and presence. Like, do you know those men? I mean, technically it can be any people because I'm also one of these people, but you know those men where you like give them a baby and they're holding a baby, and then them just holding the baby, and like maybe they're just standing and talking, or maybe they're doing a little bit of swaying back and forth. It's like that baby is just like out like a freaking light. Like that baby is like really fucking asleep. I feel like that's the kind of man that your husband is, or that's the kind of man that your husband will be. He just has this calming energy. He has this grounding energy. He has this energy of like, everybody is safe, everybody is secure, and it's also time to relax, and it's also time to go to sleep, and it's also time to take a nap. So I feel like he's going to be really, really good at putting your kids to sleep. I feel like he's going to be really, really good at helping your kids to stay calm. And yeah, I feel like in terms of like teaching your kids and them growing up, he's not going to be the kind of dad that's like, how many times do I have to tell you this? Like, if he has to repeat it, then he has to repeat it, and it's okay. If he has to communicate to them again, then he has to communicate it to them again, and it's okay. And this is like in any aspect of life, and it really serves them. Like when your kid is a teenager and they're learning how to drive and stuff, this is not the parent who's going to be screaming to watch where you're going, and like, you know, that panic adding on to an already maybe stressful situation. It's like they're going to be calm and they're going to be okay. And it's like, hey, I told you last time, you have to check your rearview mirror. Remember, you have to check your rearview mirror. Are you checking your rearview mirror? Did you just check your rearview mirror? Like, you know what I mean? Because that lamb thing, it said it will gently repeat again and again and again until you understand it. So it's like when your kids are just going through their learning processes, your husband is going to be a really great teacher. So that's really, really beautiful energy. I loved this reading so much. If you want to enter this week's giveaway, you can comment down below, #next level. And the last day to enter is the 23rd. I will be randomly generating the winner on the 24th, and then I will announce it. And yeah, that's that on that. So thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you want to book a personal reading with me, or you want to enroll in one of my courses, you want to work with me for some one-on-one coaching, I'd love to connect with you. Follow those links in the description box. And, you know, I'm super excited to serve you in another way. I didn't know how I wanted to end that sentence. Okay, I'm done talking now. I love you, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Okay, pile number 3. How are you doing? I hope you're doing good. Okay, let's jump right into this. So, pile number 3, your future, well, I don't want to say your future husband, but the kind of father that this man will be, or if you're not thinking of a specific man, it can just be the kind of father that your children will have. Immediately, because this little girl is asleep on her dad in the photo, I'm just getting this energy and vibe of like, he's going to be a dad whose love language is physical touch. He's going to be a dad who is always available to cuddle. I'm seeing that like as a family, like you guys could be a family of cuddlers. You guys could just be a family of people that love physical touch, that are always hugging. I'm just seeing a scene of a family and they're all like laying on a couch watching a movie. They got some popcorn, they got some blankets, and it's kind of like the dad is laying there, and there's a kid laying on top of the dad, and the mom is kind of leaned over on top of the dad. So the there's like everybody laying on your husband type vibe, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely get this feeling this could be a man who, right now, as you guys are dating, or when this man comes into your life, you guys will just have that dynamic where you're always cuddling, you're always holding hands and different things like that. And so this life that you bring into the world is definitely going to inherit that. I saw a video where it was like God, it was like a stepfather, a son, and the mom was recording, and it was something about like your kid has like physical touch love language and your husband doesn't, but your husband is doing the best that he can. And so they're like sitting down at dinner, and the husband has his hand down, and the little boy has his hand like reached over just on top of the, husband's hand. And it's just like that consistent contact. They're not really like holding hands. The little boy just has his hand on top of the husband's hand, and the husband is just, just sitting there, allowing that little boy to experience that physical contact and love. So I get the feeling that that's going to be your kids' experience. It's your experience where you feel most loved, you feel most safe and secure when you're being held, when you're being hugged, when you're being like snuggled. I'm even seeing an experience of like somebody's driving. It could be your husband driving, and the kid is in the back seat, but I see like your husband's hand is like reached back, and there's like my period's coming, so I feel really emotional right now. And when really cute, adorable things like that come into my mind, it just makes me cry a little bit. I'm sorry. I'm just seeing a little baby hand. That's the cutest thing I've ever seen. I'm just seeing a little baby hand wrapped around their dad's like pinky finger, you know what I mean? And it's just kind of like, that's just what your baby needed, like your baby just needed to know that their dad was there. Your baby just needed to know that another human being was there. Like there's love and there's connection there. And I feel like that's what it's going to be, like some dads might try to talk to their baby and like talk their baby down and be like, hey, like I'm here, you're safe, you're okay, you're good. But I feel like this man is going to very just instinctually know, where it's just a part of his nature to be more physically affectionate, and he's just gonna like stick his hand back there like, hey, like I'm right here. So he could have really long arms or something. But that's just the energy and the vibe that I'm getting. So I feel like he's gonna bring this really strong sense of safety and security into your home and into your baby's life. And a lot of that is going to be connected to just physical touch. I feel like this is going to be a contact nap kind of person. Like if your baby can choose where they nap, this is not going to be a man who, when the baby falls asleep, he puts the baby in their crib. This is not going to be a man who, is gonna like set the baby down next to him while the baby is sleeping. Like if the baby falls asleep on him, or if the baby falls asleep in his arms, then like the baby is just in his arms until the baby wakes up next. Like that's just it. So I feel like he's going to be very just physically affectionate and wanting to be very close to his children and wanting to really love his children and wanting to hold his children. And I'm seeing a lot of like forehead kisses. Like there's just so much physical love and affection that's there. I'm seeing like I'm seeing a family like at Disneyland, and you know when you go to Disneyland and you're with kids, and it's like by the end of the day everybody's tired, but like kids especially are really tired. Um, so it's like the end of the day at like Disneyland, and I'm seeing your husband like holding your baby, and your baby is asleep, and you guys are like walking through the rest of the parks. You know, the fireworks are over, and you know it's just time to go back to the hotel, or it's time to drive back home. And that just like I feel like your kids are going to have those memories. Like, I'm sorry, I'm such a sentimental person. I feel like your kids are going to grow up, and I feel like I feel like your kids are going to grow up, and they're going to like talk about that, you know? Like your kids will be like 20 and 30 years old, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, I remember when I was a little girl and we all went to Disneyland, and I would have so much fun, and I always thought that I was going to have all of the energy for the whole day, but every single time, like clockwork, by the time that the fireworks were going off, I was, you know, scooped up in dad's arm and I was asleep, and I never stayed awake to fully watch the fireworks, or I always fell asleep right before the fireworks show. And, you know, next thing I know, I'm waking up and we're sitting on a tram heading back to the cars. And it's like, just like fucking core memories. Like, your kids are gonna have, like, you know, the movie Inside Out? If you don't know it, then like maybe watch it. But in the movie Inside Out, there are these different, I don't remember what it's called, but there are these different like islands, and there are the different islands make up different facets of our personality. So the main character, Riley, she has like a hockey island because she loves hockey. And then she has like a friendship island because her friendships are important to her. And then she has like a family island. And that's what I think that your kids will have. Like, in your kids' minds, in your kids' brains, they will have just a family island. Like, family is going to be so precious to your husband, and family is going to be so precious to your kids. And they're going to have so many good memories with their father, where it's just their father taking care of them, their father showing up for them and being a shoulder for them to sleep on. Okay, so let's see. Tell us more about. Okay, we got the tiger, which is intuitive and protective. I think tiger and I immediately think cub. And normally I would feel this way about a lion, but it's a big cat. You do not want to get in between a big cat and one of their cubs. Like, you do not want to get in between a big cat and one of their cubs, you know, or like any wild animal. So I'm definitely getting the vibe immediately that your husband is going to be super protective over his kids, and also that he's going to have this like just intuitive gift of protecting his kids, where it's like, I don't like that person's not going to be around my kids. I don't like that daycare, we're not sending them to that daycare. I don't like that school, we're getting them pulled out of that school. I don't like that teacher, they will not be around that teacher. Like, there's going to be, when it comes to certain things and your kids, once your husband has made up his mind that something is unsafe and something is not okay for their child, even if it's just a feeling, even if it's just an intuition, like, that's it. That's done. There's no if and or buts about it. There's no further discussions to be had. It's not safe for my kid. You're not giving me good vibes. I don't trust you. You will not be around my child. So this is a dad who has a very strong protective energy, and like even a very kind of aggressive energy, not an aggressive energy towards his kids, but an aggressive energy towards other people. Like, I don't know what the hell is going on. Like this energy, I was maybe not, I was not really expecting this, that this is just like the kind of, this is just the kind of man that when people look at him, when people look into his eyes, when people look at like his body, people just do not, they do not want to mess with this guy. And when it comes to the people that he loves and when it comes to their well-being, he is very much just really not fucking around at all. And then when you think about tiger, when you think about lion, when you think about those big cubs, you think about like a roar, you know? And that's the energy that I'm getting, which is so interesting because we talked about this. It was a Panther card, and I'm pretty sure it was the third pile in another reading I did. So maybe you're asking about the same guy, but it's like the tiger in this card is not roaring. So I don't think that this is a man who's like, oh, I'm so easy to pop off and all of this stuff. But it's like I'm not getting the energy of somebody who's irritable, and I'm not getting the energy of somebody who doesn't have like a good temperament, but I am getting the energy of just a man who's like really protective of his children, like really, really protective of his children, and he actually really doesn't give a fuck how you feel about it. Um, yeah, and just even intuitive, like you might have an experience where, your husband is like, I don't like that person, I don't like that family, I don't like da 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 da, like they're not giving me good vibes, they're not coming around my kids. And then later on, you hear about, some fucked up shit that was happening, or something really bad that happened, or that person actually being an unsafe person. So it's not that your husband's going to be paranoid. It's that he's going to be really, really fucking intuitive, like really intuitive. So intuitive in a way that you could be, obviously, you're into like tarot and spirituality and stuff. You could also be an intuitive person. He might pick up on things that you don't even pick up on, like really freaking intuitive, incredibly sensitive. And I think that his sensitivity, it's like they're telling me in my mind, like it's a gift. Like your husband's ability to intuitively sense danger and unsafe situations is like a spiritual gift that he has. Like really, he's really, really good at it. So there's that. And then we have butterfly, which I need to look up in the book. Okay, so it says butterfly, undergoing great change and transformation. I feel like your husband is going to be changed by your kids. And I feel like we're all changed by our kids, right? But I feel like there's something that is going to be like awakened within him. Like the second that you learn that you're pregnant, or the second that you learn that you're going to be adopting, there's a change that's going to shift in him. And it's going to shift his energy. I feel like this man, I'm hearing like daddy daughter dance. I'm trying to think of what I feel an energy, but it's like my mind is having difficulty placing a specific example. It's like a man who's involved, a man who shows up. Okay, like this is the man who is the captain of the coach. This is the man who is the coach of his kids, like, little league. this is this is this is the man who forms relationships deliberately with fellow dads. This is the man who wants to plan trips to Disneyland, wants to plan trips as a group to Disneyland. I think he's going to change in a way that is so family oriented and focused. Like, this is a dad that's really involved. And him being really involved is like, I'm trying to think, because it's like, okay, it's like in the daily routine, I wanted to say maybe he's a stay-at-home dad, but that didn't feel right. So it's like a dad that's really connected and a part of the daily routine, but he's not a stay-at-home dad. So how is he a part of the daily routine? I feel like this is you have a schedule with your kid. You have a schedule with your children. There is a daily routine, and this is a dad that is aware of the daily routine, and he's like calling you throughout the day. Like, what do we do every single day? We FaceTime dad. And, that's actually so funny because I was in the store earlier, like yesterday or the day before. Girl, I don't know what fucking day it was, but I was in the store. And there was this adorable little baby, and she had her phone up to her ear, and she was so excited. Like, when kids get excited and they scream, but it's like a screech and it kind of like hurts your ears a little bit. Like, she was so excited, like, oh my goodness, like there's so much goodness happening. And then as she had like come closer to me in the store, I see the phone up to her ear. She's talking. I think she says dad, or she says like daddy or something. So I know that she's talking on the phone to her father. And she's very excited about this phone call. She loves talking to this man. Like, I'm so glad to hear from you. So I feel like it's going to be that kind of vibe where he might not be in the house every single day, but he's there. He's omnipresent. Like, he FaceTimes every single morning when we're eating our breakfast, or we eat breakfast together as a family, and during his lunch break he's FaceTiming and we're having a conversation while he's eating his lunch, and maybe we're eating our lunch, or we're at the park or something like that. We're going to stop what we're doing and we're going to have a conversation with our dad, or we're going to connect with our dad. So I think that this man, your husband, is going to be someone who changes his schedule. He rearranges things so that way he can be there for his family. He's not going to stay home really late after work because he actually has to get home to his kids so that he can have dinner with his kids and he can catch up with them and what did you do today and all of that good stuff. And so it's just like there's a lot of consistency, and your kids are going to anticipate hearing from their dad, or they're gonna know what's going on. I'm seeing a situation where the phone rings and your kid looks at you and is like, is that my dad? And you're like, no, your dad is not the only person that calls me on the phone. So they're going to kind of have that expectation that you are their dad. They're going to have that expectation that their dad is very present. They're going to have that expectation that their dad is very involved. So this is a really family oriented man. This is a man who wants to be around his kids. He's going to coach the little league, whatever, because he wants to spend more time with his kids. He wants to make memories with his kids. He doesn't mind doing like shit with his kids. He doesn't mind going to Disneyland and waiting in the lines to meet the characters. He is involved. He is involved. Let's see if we can get any other messages. We've got judgment. Oh my God, shut up. The kind of father that he's going to be. Oh my God, this is so sweet. So when you're pregnant, he is going to be the kind of father that like talks to your belly. So he is going to be talking with your kids and like building that relationship with them, like while they're still in the womb. So he's going to be talking with them and building that relationship. Like I'm seeing, I feel like this is a guy who likes sports, okay? And if he doesn't like sports, no, I feel like he likes sports. It could be one particular sport or a million of them. I don't fucking know, but I'm getting a little sporty vibe, okay? So you're pregnant, there's sports that are happening, there are sport seasons that are going on, okay? I'm doing the best that I can, all right? I go to a baseball game. I like to be taken out to the ball game. You know what I'm saying? But I like the environment. I like the energy. I like the vibe. I like the music. I like the kiss cam. I like the beer. I like the hot dogs. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm here for the show. I'm here for the entertainment value, okay? So no, I don't know about football season, baseball season. Does baseball have a season? I don't know what's going on and I don't want to know what's going on. So let's just assume that there are seasons for all of the sports in the fucking sporting world. So you're pregnant and you are pregnant during a season of sporting that your person is into. And so I'm just seeing you there and I'm seeing your adorable pregnant belly. And, you know, this man is talking to the baby in your womb about the sports that are happening on the screen or the sports that have just happened. And I can't give you an example. It's like the fucking, damn, what's that? It's not called the Peanuts. You know Charlie Brown? Are they called the Peanuts? You know Charlie Brown. The television show, the cartoon, Peanuts. Anyway, Charlie Brown is one of them. I think it is the Peanuts. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Move on. So it's like Charlie Brown, and when there's an adult on screen or a particular adult, and that adult is talking, it's like wah 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 wah. And so I'm seeing this scenario, and I know that this man is talking to your belly about sports, but it's like I don't know enough about sports for me to actually put words into his mouth. Like, oh yeah, he really fumbled that ball. Like I don't think that's what he's saying. I don't think that's what he's saying. Like it's not giving. I can't, you know what I'm saying? So in my mind's eye, in my ear, it just kind of feels like wah 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 wah. Like I know that he's talking about sports. I know that he's talking to your belly about sports, but I really don't know what he's saying. So yeah. So I get the energy and the vibe that this is a man who is doing a lot of talking to your belly and just forming that relationship and that bond. And so it's like when your kids are born, they're already going to be born with that preference for their father's voice. You know, they're in the womb and their dad is talking to them, and while their dad is talking to them, they're like moving around and like kicking and like doing like somersaults and shit. They're like, fuck yeah. They're like, I really love sports. Like I really love hearing my dad talk about sports. Okay. So, so there's like that experience and vibe. And I also get the energy because in this judgment card, it's like a whole bunch of people in eggs and they're being released. And he's like sounding a horn that is like calling these like people out of the egg. So I just feel like your husband is going to be like, I don't know, like I feel like there's something very deliberate about when you have children. And of course, if it's deliberate, then it's going to be like the two of you consciously coming together and deciding to have children. But I feel like your husband is going to be very deliberate about like wanting to have kids and like, you know, the kid creation process. You know what I'm saying. Um so there's that. What else? It's something. It's like there's something here that I'm not getting. I'm so close to it, but I'm not getting it completely. There's people and the eggs, and then he's sounding the thing. I feel like this your husband's relationship with your kids is gonna be like I was waiting for you, like I know you, like Keke Palmer. I saw an interview of Keke Palmer, and she was talking about her relationship with her son, and she's a Virgo, her son is a Pisces, and she was saying how she was sitting with her son and she just looked into his eyes and he looked into her eyes, and she said it felt like hello again, like I've known you before, we've done this before, something like that. So I feel like that's going to be your husband's experience with your children too, where it's almost like we've known each other before. We've spent past lives before, and I've called you back to earth. You've been my children for a million lifetimes. So they have a very strong bond, like a very strong, like spiritual bond. Like, newsflash, these are his kids, and you're just the incubator. Like, and of course, I'm being silly, but I just mean they have a very strong bond and a very strong soulmate bond. So he's gonna get his kids are gonna get him. And then we have Eagle at the bottom of the deck, and when I see Eagle, I think my pronouns are USA. You know that video? And then it's like eagle noises, you know? So the father of your children, he could be American, but he could also just be a man who's very proud. This is a man, oh my God. The second that that proud came out of my mouth, it's like a million visions just flashed in my mind's eye. Like, this man is so proud of his kids. This is the man who has pictures of his kids in his wallet. This is the man who has pictures of his kids on his phone. This is the man who, I'm so glad that you asked me about my kids because I've been waiting to talk about them for a hot fucking minute. Look at this cute outfit. Look at what she said. Look at this voicemail that I have from my daughter telling me that she misses me and she loves me. Isn't this the cutest thing that you've ever heard? So this is a man who is very proud of his kids. He's very proud to have his kids. He's very proud of you, like proud of you as like the mother of his kids. This is the kind of man who, like, when you take your like paternity like photo shoot and stuff, your pictures are like all over his fucking social media. He's like, oh my God, like my wife is pregnant. Look, everyone, at my pregnant wife. There is life that's being made. Like, my children are coming. My children are on the way. This is the greatest news that any of us could ever have heard of. Like, I'm so freaking happy. I'm so freaking excited. Like, that's the energy. And that's the vibe. Just so much freaking pride. Okay, so this man is going to, like, everything that your kids do is going to be so excited by it. And then we have the Fool and the Six of Cups. So I feel like I just heard multiples. So, you might be having multiples, okay? Like twins, triplets, so on and so forth. But I'm also just getting like multiple children, like more than one. For the other piles, I think we were kind of maybe getting like one kid, couple kids, da 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 da. For this one, like, no, it's giving army. For this one, it's giving football team amount of children. So yeah, I think that you guys are gonna have multiple kids. Now I'm hearing that song, Knocking the Boots. That is is so silly. And you know how like sometimes there are those like creators and they like announce that they're having another baby and it's like their third baby or like their fourth baby. And the people in the community are in the comments and they're like, get off of her. Like, I feel like that's going to be just your vibe in your community. Like, you're having another kid. Like, he needs to get off of you, girl. Like, there are a million children in your family. Let's see what else we're getting. And I feel like your kids are going to get along with each other really well. I feel like your kids are all going to have like their own very like distinct personalities. And I feel like your husband is going to like see them for that, you know? Like if one of your kids really loves art and wants to be an artist, your husband is at the gallery supporting them. If the other one of your kids is an architect, your husband is there when that building starts construction. If another one of your kids wants to be a teacher, your husband is there, celebrating them on their first day of school when they're teaching. If one of your kids wants to be a doctor, your husband is there at the white coat ceremony. Like if one of your kids wants to be a musician, a singer, your husband is in the front row of the crowd every single show. Like just incredibly supportive of all of these different kids and their different talents and their different, just like who they are on a soul level. It's like he's down, he's loving, he's here for it, and he just loves it all and is so proud of it. So this is a man who like he's going to get to the end of his life and just be like, I'm so proud of my kids and I'm so grateful that I got to have my kids and I'm so grateful that I got to just like witness them and raise them and experience life with them. And I feel like it's going to, like, this man is going to treat you so good. Like, he's going to treat you good because he's going to treat you good, period. But he's like really going to treat you good. This is a man who really wants children. This is a man who really loves children. And you being the woman who did the whole pregnancy thing and did the whole giving birth thing, like, oh my God, you are next level. I worship the ground that you walk on. I'm so grateful for you. Like, you can have whatever you like from me because you gave me these babies. Like, thank you so much. Like, so incredibly grateful. So I feel like he's going to just treat you with a very strong sense of respect and love and honor and gratitude because of, the amazing things that your body can do. And that's all that I got for you, pal number 3. If you want to enter into this week's giveaway, you can comment down below, #next level. If you want to book a personal reading with me, you want to look into my courses and enroll in a few of them or all of them, or you want to look into getting some one-on-one personal life mindset or manifestation coaching from me, then you can check out the links in the description box. I actually do have a free resource library. There are over 12 resources, meditations, workbooks, and all of that good stuff to help you begin manifesting and getting your mindset maintenance together. So you can learn about all of that, join all of that, check all of that shit out using the links in the description. I love you, and I will talk to you in the next one.